How you doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and as you see, we're back at it breaking down the latest in Mets land, and we're back at it getting into some key news here on Roki Sasaki, the coveted arm coming over from the Palm Pro Baseball League in Japan, is set to sign with a team in the coming days, folks. And yes, he has officially began the eliminating process of kicking some teams out of the mix that could look to acquire him, and the Mets appear to find themselves in that category. Why exactly is that? Why is Roki not looking destined to land on the East Coast barring changes at this point in time? And why should Mets fans not hang their head low but get excited? Because even without Roki Sasaki, you're still destined to land the top prospect out there, not named Sasaki, and Ellien Peña. We'll get into the upside with Peña and a bit more that we're going to hear on throughout the week when the Mets inevitably sign him, everybody. And we're also going to touch on Manaea. He officially had his presser to be back with the Mets today. What were his thoughts on not only returning the Mets, but ultimately Pete Alonso? That is what we're going to get into, everybody. So smash that like and subscribe button as your first chime in. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see your initial reactions, the comments down below to it all. And thank you guys as well for hearing from our amazing sponsor at BetUS, but more on them later in today's show, folks, because let's start with the news that you see beside me. First, we see Jack Curry there of Yes Network covering the Yankees greatly, stating how Roki Sasaki has informed the Yankees that they are out on trying to land him. Just a couple minutes later, we find out from Will Salmon of The Athletic, great friend of the channel, who was in our most previous live stream, stating that the Mets are unlikely to land Roki Sasaki as well. That has not only been reaffirmed from Andy Martino, but the Mets are essentially just waiting for the official call that they are absolutely out on Sasaki. Everything is looking in that direction right now, unfortunately. So let's get into both the reasons as to why, and as a fan, why I think you have some justified reason to be a little bit bothered if you really followed along the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes heavily. So let's get into exactly that. Now, as we know, again, what has been the worst kept secret in baseball from the start is that Roki Sasaki is going to either be an LA Dodger or he's going to find himself being there with the San Diego Padres and Yu Darvish, in which they have a great relationship with one another. Given the uncertainty with the Padres and their ownership over the past couple days because of that 91-page lawsuit from Peter Seidler's widowed wife suing against Seidler's brothers now for various reasons, it's not anything good of a situation on the ownership front for San Diego. So that may very well throw a wrench in their chances to land Sasaki. Not a guarantee, but it's looking like it may appear that way. Still, though, the Padres and the Dodgers look like that two-headed monster, along with the Toronto Blue Jays to a degree, who did in fact not only meet with Roki Sasaki, but did have Roki land in Toronto and was apparently pitching, that they actually got to see him firsthand pitch and see how he looked from recent reports. So the Blue Jays, the Texas Rangers have been in the mix, the San Francisco Giants have been told they're out, the Yankees have been told they're out, the Mets have essentially been told they're out at this point, even though it's not officially official, but everything's pointing in that direction. So why are the Dodgers and the Padres the teams that are at the top of the list here over the Mets and others? Because we did hear through Baseball America itself, and they do fantastic breakdowns on all things prospect-wise across Major League Baseball. They did state earlier today that the Mets essentially have every single thing that a guy like Roki Sasaki could be looking for when coming to the States, but the Mets are still not looking like they're going to land him. And the obvious reasons as to why are the following. The Dodgers have been long believed as the heavy favorite, as much as Jim Bowden, who wants to believe otherwise, as much as I as a fan want to see Roki Sasaki be the front man in a rotation and just not another piece like he would be with Ohtani, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, and all the other schmucks he got there in LA. And I say that half jokingly. Don't get too bothered, Dodgers fans. I know you're still on your high horse after winning the championship, and I get that. If you land Roki Sasaki, I understand even more why you're feeling confident about it back-to-back. For baseball fans like myself, we do not want to see this happen. And Joel Wolf, who is the same agent that is shared with Kodai Senga there with Mr. Roki Sasaki, has been on record stating how, Roki would like a challenge here, and maybe not necessarily the easiest fit, but one that feels like the best fit for him, his development, and everything going forward. Now, based on those kind of comments, it did lead us to believe that maybe other teams outside the Dodgers and Padres will be heavily considered. While that does appear to be true to this point, the same consensus can be said. The Dodgers and the Padres, barring changes, are still the top dogs to land Roki Sasaki now, until proven otherwise. Not only the Dodgers, with their great history of not only pitching development in their lab, but also the on-field ready talent that they have, pair that with what the Padres are doing, in which they have been tremendous with their pitching talent over the years, including Yu Darvish, who's a veteran that they signed a number of years ago on a long-term contract now, who's still been performing pretty solid for them. So The Mets, why did they not land him? It appears that that West Coast bias is once again holding true. So that any fans that think it wasn't going to be the case, sadly, it appears to be the case yet again for another top Japanese arm. And the Mets, while they do have a great pitching lab in their favor, while they do have a lot of other factors that certainly benefit them versus maybe some other teams, it still is not enough at this point in time versus a Dodgers team that has not only had the foundation for a decade plus on to be a perennial contender, but ultimately a team that's shown a further willingness to spend and really reach the hearts of everyone in Japan when looking at Yamamoto, Ohtani, and everyone else in company. Not that everyone from Japan is going to be landing with the Dodgers, but this is yet the prime example of exactly why what we've seen from the start is what we should probably believe until proven otherwise. Same thing with the San Diego Padres pursuit. I won't be shocked if the Padres end up landing Sasaki, and I do believe that Sasaki would mean a lot more to the Padres and their organization, frontlining that rotation with Darvish, Kane, and others in a way that he would not be the same exact implementation with a Dodgers team that just won the World Series against the Yankees comfortably, right? It's like, how much better do the Dodgers need to be? The Padres have a lot of reasons as to why they're desperate and want to add arms, including a guy like Roki, who they've been heavily profiling and viewing for a while under AJ Preller and everyone else in company. But right now, it feels like he's going to be going out west. So Mets fans, to anyone that was pessimistic, to anyone that said, I need to see it to believe it, you were in fact correct. And sadly, this is just another reality of us having to deal with the uphill battle that teams, even like the Mets, have still in trying to acquire young, exciting talent on a multi-year deal here. What is a very interesting and a very unique situation, unlike ones that we've previously been through with Yamamoto and other MPB players, because he's a part of this IFA pool with Ellien Peña, who we're about to get into, and other 16, 17-year-olds coming from Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba. I mean, not obviously straight from Cuba, but people who have obviously deferred out of Cuba, especially. You name it, there are a lot of players that are expected to sign, and a lot of teams have actually denounced their commitments to sign with these top international free agent prospects because of Roki Sasaki. The Dodgers lost down the top prospect that they are initially going to sign. He signed for basically $2 million instead of $1 million, so like 1.8, so essentially doubling what he would have gotten in LA. He got with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've seen many other teams decommit from initial prospects that they had said that they were going to sign, and they're saying, hey, if you wait a year, we'll sign you a year from now. Should we have the same IFA pool money or close to? But yeah, we're not going to sign you right now because we're heavily in the mix for Sasaki, or we're expecting to land him. So for the Dodgers and the Padres, they will continue that pursuit. And for the Mets now, for us fans, it's about what is next now. And that is a great question, because after losing out on Roki Sasaki, something needs to change here, and naturally the Mets are going to properly pivot from a guy that they knew that they were never a slam dunk to land to begin with. It was always going to be a luxury, and they can make that happen. So while I do believe the Mets should still add another arm to the rotation this offseason, I will stand firm on that up until we reach spring training, when they sadly haven't done it yet. But what I can tell you is that there's a lot of reasons to still be very excited about what is next for the Mets in the coming days, and what they're inevitably going to be doing in this IFA signing period, officially beginning January 15th. And that's how they are going to be acquiring the top name out there, not named Roki Sasaki, and that is Mr. Ellien Peña. And before we talk more on Ellien Peña, everybody, thank you so much for hearing from our amazing sponsor here at BetUS that has you covered, not only with all your sports betting needs, but also with your casino needs, everybody, because get ready for a rush with BetUS Casino. Generous promotions and tournaments make every play even more rewarding. Sign up now and experience the difference. Get your bonus 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000 and 250% crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000. Good luck to everybody. Please bet responsibly, whether you're doing casino, sports betting here at BetUS, and thank you guys so much, as always, for hearing them out. Now, everybody, as we get back in this one, let's just talk briefly here on what is going on with, yes, Ellien Peña, because this is important, because as we see here, everybody, we have Mr. Ellien Peña is expected to sign with the Mets on a $5 million signing bonus. This will be the biggest signing bonus in franchise history. This will be surpassing the signing bonus of previous pickups, whether that be Francisco Alvarez or what we saw a couple years ago as well with Simone, among some others. So the Mets have not been afraid to really splash big in the IFA pool that we've seen in recent years, and it has definitely benefited them, especially when you look at Francisco Alvarez, among others. Not for everyone, obviously, but in the case of Ellien Peña, there's more reasons to be excited than I think ever before, and I'm so excited to break down in a further deep dive on Ellien Peña when the Mets officially sign him in a couple days. We will have content immediately dropping on that I'm very excited to get into with not only myself but others involved as well. But Ellien Peña, what is the appeal here for the Mets? Why should we be so excited as fans to land him? Well, this has been the man connected to the Mets going back all the way to early last year. We're talking March, April, May area when the Mets were initially projected to sign him. And Peña, who is a shortstop, so to all the Fairweather fans out there saying, oh great, we're signing another shortstop, not like we have Francisco Lindor or anything, pump the brakes. The kid's 16 years of age or so. He's not going to be hitting the bigs until earliest probably 1920. But here's the thing. Peña's plus tool is so superior that many across baseball believe him not only as a true five-tool talent, but as one that can really blossom in his late teens, early 20s to be impacting Major League Baseball right away. Yes, you heard that correctly. Peña's layoff before essentially heading to Major League Baseball could be as soon as the age of 18, 19, 20 range. Obviously, I'm going to be more on the conservative end and say 19 to 21 is a range we could see him at the Major League level. We'll see how he produces at the pros, but this is a guy that comes in right away that's already one of your more top and more heralded prospects, and for great reason. He's not only deemed as a five-tool talent batting from the left side that you guys see in the little snippet of highlights here, but he's a guy that exemplifies every single quality that the Mets are looking for in a five-tool talent. And the reason why so many teams like the Mets and like a lot of other teams looking for key players in the IFA pool sign specifically shortstops is because if you're at this young of an age and if you can handle shortstop not only sufficiently, but in a superior manner at that young age of 15, 16, 17 years of age, whatever it may be, you're likely going to be able to project very well in various positions across Major League Baseball. If you can handle short, if you can handle center field, you can pretty much handle most things and not name catcher or pitcher for the most part, right? So that's the further appeal here with Peña. He does not need to be a shortstop in the future for the Mets. He very well could project to be a second or third base option for them should they want to continue to develop him as just an infield option up the middle or even in the hot corner as well. There has been a lot of comparisons out there. There's even been rumblings of guys like Rafi Devers' names thrown out there as a key comp for someone like Peña. Whether that's accurate or inaccurate will be telling of how he starts his professional career when he's officially signed by the Mets in the next 48 hours or so. But get excited, Mets fans, because for the Mets to not only have any IFA pool signing that they're doing, as this is one of a multitude of moves that they'll be making 48 hours from now that we'll touch on and probably a live stream or video on the platform right away when it's all official. But Peña, before Roki Sasaki, was deemed worldwide, countrywide, as a top prospect in this IFA class. And for the Mets to have him locked down is a massive deal. The Mets have signed some top prospects of recent years, but not to the caliber of literally the top in the game, essentially, in Ellien Peña. And that is what we're getting here right now, Mets fans. So get excited, and we will talk plenty more on Peña and his upside that he brings to this Mets team in the near future when he officially signs with them, which should be this Wednesday, right around January 15th. So folks, now going from Ellien Peña, who we're going to talk plenty more on the channel in the coming days, let's get into the latest that I'll leave you with, which has everything to do with Sean Manaea. Because Sean Manaea, for those that don't know, Sean had his presser today, officially back with the Mets on that 3-year deal, in which he did the presser from his car, which I thought was pretty funny. But this is what I want to share with you guys, just some thoughts on Sean Manaea sharing coming back to the Mets, and also Pete Alonso.
And obviously, Pete is still out there. He was such a big part of what you did last year. How much are you hoping that the two sides can figure that out?
Very much so. I'm whatever happens with Pete. I'm always going to support him, but I would definitely love to have him back on the Mets and be our first baseman. So hopefully we can get that done. And but whatever happens at the end of the day, I'm going to be happy for him either way. So
Manaea is confident Pete's coming back, and you want to know why he's confident? It's because this is why Manaea is confident to a degree. I think we can. Oh, I did not realize music was going to play. You're not copyrighting me today, folks. It ain't going to happen. But anyways, we got Sean Manaea and Pete Alonso working out, which I'd assume was earlier this morning. And the reason why I assume it's earlier this morning, as this was posted there that we saw on TikTok from someone of Alonso and Manaea working out together, is because Sean Manaea was asked a little bit more on Alonso in his presser today. And this is what he had to say about the following.
And also, I saw that you were working out with Pete down in Tampa. Have you guys been working out a lot? Have you been hanging out at all in the off season?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much work out every day. He might show up a little earlier than I do, but usually he's we end up working out around the same time. Yeah, we haven't got a chance to do anything outside of the field yet, or drive or diesel yet. But yeah, I think here soon we will be.
So there you go. He said, here soon we will be. So everything is pointing towards the obvious. Alonso will be bringing back. Well, Alonso will be returning to the Mets, rather, until proven otherwise. That's why I said it's felt inevitable over this past month. And now for him to approach the Mets with a 3-year contract tells me all I need to know. Folks, we all feel fairly confident Pete's going to come back here until proven otherwise. So just buckle up and get ready. Expect it to be in that short-term range, barring changes, of right around 3 years, $90+ million with an opt-out after the first and or second season. And when that inevitably does happen and is announced, we will be right here on the platform to talk about it, live react to it, and be so happy to finally say that, yes, Pete Alonso is officially back with the Mets. He'll be paired with Soto, Lindor, Vientos, Alvey, Nemo, everyone else in company. Would I like the Mets to still land another bat and a starter this offseason? Absolutely. Do I think that they will do 1 to 2? I do. I think the Mets will for certain land another bat outside of Alonso, but I don't have confidence that they will land for certain another true piece of this rotation. If anything, I think it'd be more on the quantity end, because you can never have enough arms. But I'm all about depth. I want some more quality, even if these guys can blossom this year. Let's see if David Stearns has any tricks up his sleeve before we reach spring training in just what is going to be a month or plus now or so. We're not far away at all. But guys, thank you so much again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Let us know your biggest takeaways in the comments down below. Not only on the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes, as he appears to be headed to the Dodgers or the Padres barring changes, but why the Mets, the Yankees, and other East Coast teams not named the Toronto Blue Jays find themselves on the outside looking in. And yeah, if he lands with Toronto, I will not only be shocked, I will be jaw dropped, and I'll be congratulating every Blue Jay fan friend that I know in the community, because I just don't see it happening for obvious reasons. But folks, thank you so much for watching. It is always appreciated. I'll see you all in our next video or live stream on the platform all week long, where we have you covered on the Mets in season and off season here on WardyNYM. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.